Hola geólogos, and thanks to the Chilean Geological Society for this award. I regret that I cannot be there in person, and I thank my three friends, Juan Carlos Marquardt, Carlos Munchmeyer, and Ramon Pham, for accepting this award in my name. 58 years ago, I and my young family arrived in Barquito on a W.R. Grace passenger freighter cargo boat, and then loaded onto a track car. That track car was our first introduction to the Atacama Desert, and it took us all the way up to Puerto Rios and onward to Salvador. The town of El Salvador was under construction. The mine was also under construction, and the ore body itself was not identified. So I had come as a young freshman geologist. We were lucky because we had an outstanding teacher in our first boss there, Frank Trask. It took 2 or 3 years to get the rough spots off a junior geologist like me, and we all began to realize that we needed a laboratory, a mineralogical laboratory, to get at the details of the ore body. After 4 years of work, we scored a major victory by convincing the management that they needed a geological laboratory. So we were authorized to install the laboratory, and we made it as state-of-the-art as possible. The whole process took 8 years. In 1973, I began the second phase of my career when I was hired to manage an exploration program for Superior Oil and Falconbridge nickel. We formed a company called Exploradora Doña Inés, and I had carte blanche to hire the best people I could to do the first project of Doña Inés. We had selected from a group of 6 properties offered by the Chilean government, one called Quebrada Blanca, to be our first target under this new investment environment. I was authorized to staff the new company, and that included a core group of Juan Carlos Marquardt, Carlos Munchmeyer, Jim Bratt, Julio Vera, and Sandra Sepulveda. To do this work, we had constructed a camp, an exploration camp, located at 4,200 meters, and we used that for the exploration work in the Quebrada Blanca and region surrounding. And the leach cappings were noted and carefully mapped in detail, and a single drill hole had been drilled previously. The Doña Inés geologists were successful in their mapping and predicting of underground concealed limits of secondary enrichment, as their estimates were within 10%. In 1979, we became interested to find out what kind of value might lie between the high-grade veins of the Collahuasi district, located within 10 kilometers of Quebrada Blanca, and we began a drilling program. Today, Collahuasi has continued to exceed expectations and is still growing bigger, and will likely continue to get bigger still as the reserve exceeds the 2 billion ton range. During the last 30 years, I have worked primarily as a geological consultant to both Chilean and international mining corporations, including Codelco, Ray Rock, and others. During this period, I've had the great pleasure of working with and meeting many fine young Chilean geologists, and to emphasize with them the importance of mapping and the dangers of relying on unsupported by mapping computer-generated block models. We're all fortunate that Chile is pro-business and pro-mining. It helps to get things done, as in the case of Quebrada Blanca. The president repeatedly said, "Tell me what you need and I'll get it for you." Going forward, there will be many more geologists produced, and detailed mapping skills will be at a premium. In closing, I've developed many close and personal relations that have lasted 40 to 60 years, not the least of which is my companion through all of this, Alicia, and she has followed me through 11 moves and high altitude camps without complaint. Some of you may have noticed that working in the field provides an opportunity to improve your language. You will have noticed that I have found that the Spanish language, you can get along without any verbs or tenses. Gracias otra vez para una vida estimulante y recompensada. Viva Chile! Oh damn, I lost it.
No extra charge for the spider dropping into the middle. Oh, that's funny.